Hello everyone, I'm me, Mine343, and I am a big obsessed with Undertale Deltarune. So I want to talk about a theory that I've been thinking of. It's mostly an extension of a couple theories I've seen. The idea is Undertale is the different prophecy. Spoilers, of course, for Undertale and Deltarune 2024. Saw a couple of the greatest games of all time, and just play them. They're good. Introduction. We'll talk about the new information of the prophecy Deltarune introduced in Chapter 4, and what does that mean to Undertale and Deltarune's connection. One of the first major questions Deltarune brings up is, why did there even relation to Undertale in the first place? Because it initially is weird, like, why is this a different game, but the characters are the same? It's very much a evolution of the gameplay of Undertale, but at the same time, there's many things that are new. Why is it like that? Well, I think I realized something. We will start with Gerson. Gerson in both Undertale and Deltarune are very important to the game's different respective prophecies. Undertale Gerson, which is Undertale Yellow sprite, tells you outright their version of the prophecy. The darker version of Deltarune Gerson resides in the Dark Sanctuaries, which outright tell you the prophecy in the Dark World. Both games and universes have a prophecy with an angel. I'm going to go over more of the Undertale one, because if you're watching this video, you probably played Chapter 4 and understood what, and you've probably seen many of the prophecy slides. But in Undertale, the prophecy states that an angel will be descend from the surface and bring them freedom. While in Deltarune, again, it's mainly about the heroes banishing some sort of angel's heaven. And the angel banished will finally meet his desire. This is the Gaster thing from the website, that it's banished from the angel's heaven. What do different prophecies mean? So something very intentional is that the symbol is the same between both games. This is from Undertale, this is from Deltarune. This is also from Undertale, and this is Martlet from Undertale Yellow. What the fuck are you doing here? In both games, the Deltarune itself is the same, but represents different things. In Undertale, the Deltarune and the prophecy represent 3 different endings. We have 2 endings where the underground does indeed go empty, in either pacifist or no mercy. Then you have neutral. But at Deltarune, these represent the heroes. Quite obviously, here in the Deltarune scene in the Chris's room in the Card Kingdom, no, Castletown. You know, Susie, Chris, and Rousey. Notice how we have 2 upwards for Lightners and 1 downwards for Darkners. What does it mean for the structure of the games? Undertale had 3 endings, but as we know of, Deltarune have 1 ending. One prophecy ends with 3 ways of seeing it through, the other with only 1 way. Undertale and Deltarune's prophecy, the game structure is the prophecy. Absolute cinema. Toby Fox, you did it again. So why are these 2 games connected? It's in the name. Undertale and Deltarune are scrambled with each other. The anagram is part of the fucking plot. Similar characters, different situations. You want proof? Deltarune is inverted Undertale. We start with Card Kingdom in Deltarune, but we end with New Home in Undertale. Main connections here is that you fight a king. Well, the connections get more similar with the second area of Deltarune, the second last area in Undertale. Both the Cyber World and the Core are high-tech areas with a Yellow Soul Fight. You have Metaton Neo and Spanton Neo, you know, very much similar characters there. And also, of course, you know, a bit of a theme of, you know, TV and internet. Well, this one's more TV, more internet, but the idea of entertainment. Eventually, with TV World and Hotland, the major connections here are the major antagonists. A TV star chases you down using TV-based gimmicks. Tenna and Metaton both use, you know, cooking show segments, quiz show segments to get you down. There's a musical segment, and that's kind of the main similarity there. Well, we have the Dark Sanctuaries and Waterfall, which are very much, I think, intentionally meant to be. The other areas could be complete coincidences. This feels very much intentional, as both of them are very blue. They also have water as a major focus. I mean, Waterfall is in the name of Waterfall, but water is also just very much a consistent motif in the Dark Sanctuaries, with the missiles and the waterfall climbing sections. Music and sound is also a recurring motif. Pianos make a lot of appearances in both areas. Also, something I just noted, Undyne plays the piano, Undyne lives in Waterfall. Also, speaking of Undyne, Undyne and Gerson almost parallel each other. They're both weapons of justice. And they share the same motif. And also, Undyne, pretty interesting, is Undyne not only parallels Gerson, but also parallels the Knight, as in both as in the antagonist as well as the character you see throughout. In both of these places, the prophecy is explained to. And again, Dark Sanctuary is the prophecy. You just see it everywhere. Well, the Waterfall, you have it explained to Gerson. As well as Waterfall, you have these runes, glyphs, whatever they're called, inscriptions, that explain the history of the Underworld. What does this mean for the future chapters of Deltarune? Chapter 5 would be fair in some way to Snowden. How? We don't know. I have kind of a crack theory that Chapter 5 is not Flower King, but the store. But that's just my crack theory, to be different from other people. Majority of the people think it's going to be Flower King. I think that makes sense. How would Chapter 6 be like the ruins? Perhaps take place in a fucked up card kingdom. Notice how the second sanctuary is a fucked up version of the first sanctuary. What if that's actually what happens in Chapter 6, where we go back into the unused platform and we make a new Dark Fountain? And then it's a fucked up weird version of Card Kingdom, just like how the ruins in New Home are meant to be like weird versions of each other. For Chapter 7, we don't know. The true lab could be the shelter, but my opinion is that Chapter 7, we're gonna get full roaring, full weird fucking bullshit is gonna be happening. And so I feel like that's where the similarities end. But it's not just locations. One of the major things is that the holidays and dreamers here to take each other places. This is a major assumption that Death is the Night. It's a very popular idea right now, mainly because of those antlers they got, and as well as some ideas that seem to make sense. But think about this: Deltarune Asgore and Undertale Asgore and Deltarune Carol are leader figures with a tragic lost child. And actually, further, we know through out-of-game dialogue and port-unique dialogue is that the holidays do exist in Undertale, but Death is around. Death doesn't do whatever in Undertale. Compared to, well, Undertale Asgore and Toriel, which, yeah, they do lose their children. So we have these two leader figures with a tragic lost child. But then, if Death is the Night, this also parallels Flowey. As Flowey is, Asriel came back in a weird, fucked up way. Just like if Death is the Night, it's obviously not fully Death. It's something weird and fucked up. Also, Asriel in Undertale has a strange connection to being the angel of the prophecy. And as of right now, Noelle has some weird fucking strange connection to prophecy. There's some other swaps in the version. These are the major ones I thought of, but I think there's you can go into a lot of the details between the different characters and interactions they have. One of the major things that I haven't seen people notice is how in Undertale, Alphys works under Asgore and replaces Gaster, but in Deltarune, Alphys works under Toriel and replaces Gerson. In both games, Alphys replaces predecessor and serves one of the dreamers. Here's some, just another example, just further. Brad and Caddy are friends. Deltarune, they fucking hate each other. Here's something also very interesting that is kind of cemented in Chapter 4. In Undertale, the Deltarune is associated with royalty in the Kingdom of Monsters. That's how the major symbol is a motif in royal guards in the royal family. This motif of the Deltarune represents the kingdom, but in Deltarune, the Deltarune is associated with the religion. As we can see in Deltarune, Toriel's Undertale design is her, like, religious garb, and we see the other characters in their religious garb. That just shows how, again, the prophecies are different. They represent different ideas, but they're still the same symbol. Here's an interesting observation I've noticed. I don't know if this is a coincidence or not. Deltarune Undyne gets armor similar to Undertale, and she uses her spears. From what we all know so far, and it's very much likely, monsters in the light world of Deltarune do not use their magic. But as soon as you get into one, we have a full example of a Undertale character getting their Undertale magic in Deltarune Dark World. Because before every other Dark World, there was a Lightner who entered Dark World was a new Deltarune character where we haven't seen their magic. We have now seen Undyne use her spears in the Dark World. One other major thing is that Undyne misses all of her shots with her spears, as in she had never used them before and misses. If she had used her spears, she would have fucking defeated the knight, because Undyne is awesome. Also, Dark World design, very much similar to her Knight Royal Guard design. Granted, there is differences, but I feel like it's intentional. Just as we see Dark World Toriel, very most likely is meant to represent how she looked as a queen. Maybe the pink, no, the blue kind of turned more purple, how it was. Not just because like the Dark World just fucks up your colors in general. But I think that it's very intentional here that Cheriel turns into the same type of thrones that are in Undertale. We haven't seen Asgore Dark World design, but this Prophecy design is quite literally a trace of his king attire in Deltarune. I mean, in Undertale. What the fuck does this mean? Deltarune is literally just an official swap video, but why? I don't really know, but let's cover some ideas, quick ideas that I think come from this idea. I think the most likely idea why the two games are connected is that they enforce the idea that Gersten brings up of interpretation of the story and how they train conversions creators. I feel like this is first seen officially with the idea that when Susie creates the second sanctuary, it's her interpretation of a Church Dark World, unlike how the Knight created it. They're both a Church Dark World, but with different ideas. There's something different as well. The first sanctuary, you have these the church wafer guys who are very much like priest figures. But Susie, who's probably not really very religious, creates these philosophers that question the prophecy. Undertale and Deltarune in the same vein then. They're the same characters, gameplay, and ideas, but made a different vision in mind. One is, in that different vision, it's a different prophecies. An idea that I had that probably doesn't go anywhere, but it's just kind of an idea, is that Deltarune is a master ship on alternate universes. I don't think that's likely, but it's just an idea to throw out, to think about. What about Gaster? It's not a Deltarune theory without Gaster. The Vice theory is real. I think it is real. Molly Starr's video series is crazy. This is an idea that probably existed ever since the community discovered the whole Wingdings and the Deltarune website, that Gaster could be the author of the Prophecy Deltarune. That still feels quite likely. I feel like there is some things about, well, what does he want? But then who made the Prophecy Undertale? I don't know. It doesn't seem that important. I don't think it's Gaster, Undertale Gaster. But that just feels kind of weird. We just need to learn more about what Gaster is, and then we can answer that question. So what about the weird route? The weird route, in my current idea of the weird route, is the player brute forcing a different ending via breaking the prophecy. The meta reason for Snowgrave is to show how players definitely want something new from getting into it before. It's a Toby Fox game. There's always some meta narrative going on with the major story. And the meta narrative of the weird route could be, well, you have played this game so much, you want a different ending. That is something that a lot of people like agree with and think about. So imagine, yes, I can brute force and find a way to a different ending. That's probably what the intention here is. Granted, I think the weird route will have the same ending of whatever Angel's Heaven being banished, but it's going to be way more fucked up because of the things. Maybe in the normal route, you get banished. You're the angel. But in the weird route, Noelle gets banished because she kind of becomes this weird, fucked up version of the angel. Thank you for watching. This is just a quick little video I made up and a quick little Google Slides. I'm not normally a theorist, but I wanted to make something that this idea has been taking my fucking brain over for a week now. I may have missed nothing, but I just hope to have some discussion. Enjoy the Martley gifts. Enjoy your day. Have a great day. Enjoy the video.